The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey there, everybody. Just doing a little sound check. If you wouldn't mind putting a note in the question log and let us know if you can hear us okay, that would be so appreciated. And thanks for dialing in early. We have another minute or so, and while we're waiting for folks to dial in, if you want to go ahead and put any burning questions that you may have into the question log, this would be a really great time to go ahead and do that. And we will get started in just a moment. Okie dokie. All right, well, thank you, and I do see the sound check. We're coming in loud and clear. Thank you so much for that. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for calling in today at noon. I love this time for calls. It seems to be kind of popular.
It is.
So that's always good. Welcome to our monthly WOW Wednesday chat for new troop volunteers. This month, our topic is finishing strong and beginning anew. And we're going to be chatting about tips and techniques that will help you finish the current program year successfully and transition smoothly and seamlessly into the upcoming program year. Now, before we get going, just a brief introduction on the technology that we're using today. We are using GoToWebinar technology. You should have a control panel in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. On this control panel, you'll notice that you can see who else is calling in today, and as of right now, we have about 11 of us on the call, which is fantastic. In addition, you've got a question log, so at any time throughout the webinar, you can type a question or comment into this log, and we'll do the best that we can to respond to those questions throughout the session. And we may have to limit the questions, but we'll definitely respond to all questions, even if we have to do so after the call. Just a reminder, this webinar will be recorded and the link will be uploaded to the GSNEO YouTube page, just in case someone can't make it or in case you'd like to rewind and take another listen. And lastly, everyone's line is muted in order to minimize background noise. But if you'd like to be unmuted, just raise your virtual hand. You do this by clicking the hand raising icon on your control panel. It looks like a round blue button with a yellow hand inside. When you click this, it raises your virtual hand, and then we'll unmute your line one participant at a time. So before we go any further, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kim Klima, and I am serving as the Director of Volunteer Support and Services here at the Girl Scouts. I've been here professionally for about 15 years now, and but I've been Girl Scouting much longer than that, and it's my honor and privilege to be with you here today. And also we have Barbie Anzalone.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm the Senior Manager of Volunteer Support and Services, and I've been a Girl Scout for approximately 24 years. A few years as a girl and most of it as an adult. So, you know, this is one of my favorite seasons in the Girl Scout year. As a volunteer, this was a time of year to look back on the girls' accomplishments and revel in how much they had grown, matured, and developed in their leadership journey. It was also a time to help and guide them in setting realistic goals and creating a plan for what they wanted to achieve in the upcoming year, individually, as a troop, and within their community. So, for me, the quote on this side rings true when I think about those fun times or see those incredible young women today. It was fun, it was challenging, and it was purposeful, and it truly left a lasting impression on my life. Working with volunteers today on a daily basis is an honor and a privilege. I am in constant awe of all you do for the girls and the adults in your communities, And I love supporting you as you help girls achieve their dreams. And I can't wait to see how you will discover, connect, and take action as you continue to develop your leadership skills and spread Juliet's dream for the girls.
Awesome. I agree. It's such a fantastic time of year.
It's a fun year.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
And they grow up so fast.
They do.
So thank you, Barb. And do you want to go ahead and introduce our topic today?
Sure. Our topic today is finishing strong and beginning anew. How do we take a break from the routine without putting brakes on the momentum of Girl Scouting? Summertime is an amazing time to explore the outdoors or your community. It's a perfect time to try new things, and keep the Girl Scout energy going. It's also a great time to gather families together and engage them for the coming year. We hear it all the time, and we get that the summer months are a time for leaders to rest and recover and recharge. And we hear the girls are too busy also. But, the summer months don't need to follow the traditional troop format to keep things going. Today we're going to discuss some strategic and fun ways to enjoy the upcoming months with the girls and have a seamless and stress-free transition into the 2017 program year.
Awesome. All right. So one of the things I think that we certainly would be remiss if we didn't talk about is spring renewal. So quick question, we'll do a little poll using the question log. Who on the phone has already renewed their troop for 2017? So go ahead and answer in the question log, yes, we did it, or not yet, but we're going to get to that today. No.
Or questions.
Or if you have questions about it. Yeah, that's really good. So we're getting some responses here in the question log. Yes, we did. Larissa said, yes, we did on April 1.
Awesome, Larissa.
That's so great. And Stephanie said, yeah, all my girls are coming back. I just received all the money, so we'll sign up this week. Another one said, I've renewed myself and my daughter, but I'm waiting to hear from the rest of my parents, which is understandable.
Right.
Not yet, but we're getting final numbers for members next Wednesday. Shannon Carr, one of our staff team members, said, I'm a lifetime member.
Yay, Shannon.
You go, Shannon. That's great. So Michelle says it's done, and Michelle said she renewed herself and her daughter, but she's pushing the parents to get moving. That's always fun,
Okay.
So it sounds like we have some great folks on the line with us today, really taking advantage fully of not only the perks of spring renewal in that you can make extra money on your cookies and all these great things, but just the peace of mind that it brings. I like how Stephanie said, yay, my girls are coming back. It's so much easier to really get those girls shored up, locked in, and ready to go for next year. And, if they change their mind over the summer, no harm, no foul. They're still members. They might come back.
And maybe they, as they age, they have to limit some of their Girl Scout activity level. But you know what? Let them participate in what they're interested in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder, renewal for this year is $15. In a year from now, we will be renewing for 2018, and the charge at that time will be $25. So our national membership dues did go up, but that will not take effect for a full year. So it's $15 right now, and even at $25, it's the best deal in town. But so who needs to renew? Just to review, some folks are talking about themselves and their daughters and their girls and their troop, but the reality is everybody needs to renew, even people, Shannon, like our lifetime members, because, not only are you renewing your membership, which Shannon wouldn't have to do because she's a lifetime member, but you renew your participation. And so if you're a troop leader or a helping hands, you still want to go in, update your profile, make sure your phone number and your email is still correct, and also renew your position as a volunteer so that it stays attached to your membership.
yeah, we want to know what you're going to continue doing and how you're going to continue to serve. And
Yep.
maybe there's something else you want to add to that list. So we just
Yep.
don't want anybody to miss the communication that may come out with those roles.
Awesome. Yes. And so everyone needs to renew. That includes our staff, our board members, service team members, service unit directors, registrars, recruiters, what have you. And by the way, just as a reminder, I know we talked about this before, but if you are serving in a role in your troop that's a troop leader role, which could be troop leader, troop admin, or troop program guide, you don't also have to select helping hands or something like that, because if you're a troop leader, we know that you're a helping hand.
We know.
Yeah. If you're a troop leader and a product sales manager, then you do want to select both of those roles, because the product sale, by selecting product sales, that's how we know who's handling the sale in your troop specifically. So you really don't usually have to select two roles in a troop, just the primary one, unless it's a product sales role, and then you want to grab that. Veronica said, my current leader and I are planning to switch positions, making me the leader and her the co-leader. Can I do that from the volunteer toolkit, or does she have to do that, or do we have to call the council for help? I think it's a very, very good question. And, I like, too, that you guys are analyzing, like, how are we going to do this next year and who's going to be doing what? So the answer is you can do this all yourself. As a troop leader, you can do it for all the other adults in your troop, too, or they can do it themselves. So you log into your member community. You go to gsneo.org, click on My GS, go into the member community, and select the role that you would like to be in. Now, keep in mind that the word co-leader isn't really a word that we use anymore. There are 3 different leadership roles in a troop. One is a leader, and you can have 2 leaders. One is a program aide, which means that's the leader when a program guide, and a troop admin. So the reason why we invented troop program guide and troop admin is because more and more often we are hearing from troop leaders that say, well, we're both leaders, but I do the paperwork part and she does the program part. And so we just created some new terms to help sort that out. But the reality is all 3 of those positions are equal. You can divide up the work however you want within the confines of your own troop. We just really strongly suggest open and clear communication about who's going to be doing what. So really, in your case, Veronica, both you and your troop leader would probably choose the troop leader role. And you can do that on your own. And of course, if you need help at any time, you can give us a call here. Just call customer care. They can answer just about every question. And if it gets too complicated, they'll let your staff person know. We'll get you some individualized help on that. So hopefully, that answers the question about those 3 primary roles, the admin, the program guide, and the leader. They're equal, and you just kind of
work together, and it becomes a little bit more of a co-op, and just helps everybody to split the tasks up and work together.
That's right. So great questions, and thank you all so much for asking those. And I mentioned this before, but, as former volunteers, Barb and I can both tell you that renewing your troop or your household early, yes, it's great for all those incentives. Absolutely. Your girls are going to get zoo tickets, and we're all going to be together at the zoo on September 17th, and that is awesome reason to do it.
Exactly. A lot of fun.
But probably the best reason to renew in the spring is because you have that peace of mind. You're prepared for the fall. You're not trying to herd cats in the fall when school is starting and everybody's trying to get their calendars organized. And really, it helps bring those girls back. So it's girl retention as well.
It's getting the girls and the families excited about next year. And I always found that the parents really appreciated being able to renew the girls earlier and in the spring, because they didn't have to worry about it when in the fall the schools were sending home everything, and it was one more piece of paper or one more task that they had to do. One more check to write. So I think it just has always been a little easier to do it in the spring.
Absolutely. And then, too, you're helping your service unit, because if 75% of the membership within your community renews by June 30th, then the service unit is going to get a check for $25 to help with girl programming. So it's a win-win.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And so, by the way, just in case, there's any concerns or questions, one of the things that does come up at this time of year is support and financial support. So we have at our council financial assistance as well as scoutship. And we'll talk for just a moment, what's the difference between these two things and how do we access these things? So remember, as a troop leader or a troop volunteer, it's not your decision as a troop leader to decide whether or not a girl needs help with her membership dues. Really, that's a family decision. And so financial assistance is something that can only be requested by the parent or caregiver of an individual girl, or even for themselves, because financial assistance is also available for the adult if they choose it. And it's very easy to do when they're renewing. They just kind of check that box that they need assistance, and it's pretty simple and straightforward, but it has to be done by the parent or caregiver. And it is done during the process of renewing or purchasing the membership. Financial assistance is really just for membership dues. So it's for that $15 that we pay annually to GSUSA. What happens is if you check that box, instead of you as a parent paying that $15, GSNEO sends a check for $15 to GSUSA. So GSUSA doesn't let us off the hook. The council still has to pay for that membership, but the council does set some money aside to do that so that the $15 doesn't become a barrier for girls to participate. At the same time, it is a limited pot of money, and so, we hope, and most of the time, families do pay for their own membership. The other way that you can pay for membership is through the proceeds of the council-sponsored product sales. So I always recommend that a troop budgets in the cost of doing business to their goals and their annual budgeting, and use the cookie proceeds to pay for the memberships first before they do other things. But that's a troop decision. On the other hand, we have Scoutship. Scoutship is not for membership fees. Scoutship is for program and uniform fees. Right. So this is something that can be requested by a troop leader and is applied for through the online form, which is at gsneo.org. Once that is approved based on financial need, the girl or adult will get a voucher that they can use in the shop to come in and purchase their essential and required kind of items. So like the program books, the uniform pieces, and that sort of thing, as well help to discount camp, resident camp, council events. There's a lot of things that you can use that for. So those are the differences between them and how you would apply. So are there any questions about spring renewal or financial assistance versus Scoutship, anything, any questions at all there? Okay, great. So please just remind your families that, money should not be a barrier to participating in Girl Scouting, and that is available to them if they need it. Let's talk a little bit more about finances, because I think at this time of year is when finances are really front and center. It's what we're talking about.
There's money in the accounts, and there are activities to do and things to plan for, and part of troop and group financial reporting is helping the girls to understand budgeting, and as girls grow, experience in Girl Scouting can help them learn to manage money wisely, understanding its value and developing habits of thrift, honesty, and self-reliance. So as you consider troop and group finances from the standpoint of the girl, we do ask you to remember to help the girls and caregivers realize that some troop and group activities cost money while others do not, and to talk with them about the cost in relation to plans. Be aware of the economic situation of the girls' families in order to set dues and costs at a figure everyone can afford. We want to help girls learn how to handle money through banking, shopping, and record keeping, and working with girls to plan how to earn money to cover the costs of their plans. So, just as an overall about financial planning, we just want all of our volunteers to become familiar with all the resources that are available to you and conduct the troop or group's business, with transparency and integrity. And it's another opportunity for our volunteers to be role models. And, we do trust that you will embrace the challenge of being a good steward of your girls' hard-earned money.
Absolutely. And keeping track of all those finances, sometimes we need a little bit of help.
Yeah, help.
Seriously, troop group financial reporting should not look like this picture.
No. You don't want your personal stuff to look this way either.
It doesn't have to be this hard.
Yeah.
As you or the troop admin in your troop, or maybe it's a troop treasurer, have kept records throughout the year, this would be a lot easier. So we really want to make sure that people do that. And by all means, if you're not a numbers person, then ask a different person in the troop to take care of this role. Remember, everybody who handles troop funds must be an approved volunteer, which means they need to become a member and choose that role in the troop. They'll complete their background check. All troops, service units, and day camps are required to submit an annual financial report, and GSNEO has streamlined this process so that these annual financial reports can be submitted very easily online. So this year, financial reports are again due on June 30th, and that's true whether you're trying to earn the early bird incentive or not. It's due on June 30th for everybody. So if you need any help with that, reach out. You can talk with a member of your service team, ask your service unit director or your service unit organizer for some support and help. Even another troop leader who's been doing this a little bit longer than you have can help you with that. The online form is really easy to use, and there's some additional tools that were developed by volunteers to help you track your expenditures. So volunteers have developed 2 Excel templates that are found on the website. The treasurer tracking template, which is what you see on the screen now, allows leaders to track their expenses and categorize income and expenses for the financial report, which is due every June. And it also helps to complete all of the financial report category totals and balances. So it aligns very nicely with the way you have to report the information on the finance report.
Right. So you should be able to take the information on that template and put it right into your financial report at the end of the year or by June, and everything should align nicely.
Yes, and we've had a lot of good feedback about those templates. That's why we share them. And then there's an expense report template, which is a form that each person needing reimbursement can fill out and return to the troop treasurer along with receipts. This helps the troop treasurer document the reason for the reimbursement. So if, maybe you have a parent that made a Packatans run for the troop and they picked up, paper and scissors and now they need reimbursed by the troop, then this document is a way that your treasurer can keep track of all that.
Right.
Again, created by a volunteer. Others found it useful, so we made it available to everybody. And for your convenience, all of this can be found on the GSNEO website under the Volunteer tab, and then clicking Volunteer Resources in the gray navigational sidebar. So Just a couple highlights on financial online reporting. You know, as a troop leader, you are going to need to use your assigned PIN number to gain access to the troop reporting. You need to prepare, or you can prepare and submit your report without paper. You don't have to print anything. You don't need to mail anything. You can do it all right online. And you will receive a link to a PDF file that can be forwarded to the parents, or you can print that or download it if you want to, or you can just email them the link so they can see the finance report, which is, you know, transparency really helps you. As a service unit director, you're going to get an emailed copy of those finance reports, and you can follow up on absent or problem reports. So the volunteer directors in your unit help us by ensuring to remind everybody to get their reports turned in, and if any are still outstanding, it always helps for that local, you know, the service unit director to contact you and say, hey, we still need your finance report. And that always helps a great deal. And then, of course, the council staff is aware of the status of report submission, and we do analyze those reports. We don't look at every single one every single year. It's kind of a random audit that we do. Of course, if we get any complaints about a troop, or, you know, there's any suspicion, then we definitely pull all that information. And remember, the troop leaders should keep their receipts. You keep all that stuff yourself. You keep it on file for a couple years, actually, because if we have to go back and do an audit on a troop, we'll be asking you then for your bank statements and your receipts. So it's always good to keep that stuff handy. And if for some reason you forgot your PIN number, you can go right to gsneo.org on the help function and just click that you need your PIN number, and we will get that back out to you. So and the turnaround time's pretty quick on that, so not to worry if you forgot your PIN, which is probably what everybody does once a year.
Yeah, at least once a year, right before June 30th.
Exactly, so we're ready for those questions, not a problem. The other thing to keep in mind is that the finance report itself, again, has to be done by June 30th every year. And if you want to see the income and expense categories on the finance report, you can just log in to Troop Reporting, and when the screen appears with the categories, go to the File pull down in your browser and select Print. And then that way you can print a blank form in case you want to use that as you prepare to finalize it. So now a new feature that's available is on the Volunteer Toolkit, which has become more and more popular. Almost half of our troops are using the Volunteer Toolkit.
That's fantastic.
And they're reporting back really strong, good things about the digital toolkit. So again, you go to gsneo.org, you select My GS, and you select the toolkit, right? And you want to tell them a little bit about how they can use that?
So, you know, completing the finance report is easy through the VTK, as Kim had mentioned. Another great thing is that the parents and caregivers can view the finance report at any time, as well as viewing the meeting plans. So, but don't worry, you know, they can't customize anything in the VTK, and they can't change the financial report, but it really adds a lot of transparency and helps with keeping the lines of communication open. Currently, we are not submitting year-end finance reports through the VTK. So if you've been working in the VTK, just take this information and put it into the financial report and submit it online. Our CFO is working with, John Graves, our CFO, is working with a team across the country and with GSUSA on implementing and streamlining this process in the near future. I believe it probably has to do with, you know, creating a report that is being used across the country, and making sure that everybody's getting the right
because it's based on quarters, you know, it's based on quarters. So every troop would have 4 reports every year, and that's really not very helpful, but it's helpful at the troop level. You know, if you do a quarterly report at the troop level and share that with your families, then at the end of the year when it's time to do your finance report, it's simple.
It's done. Yeah.
You know, and we've aligned these categories on the VTK up with the finance report that you do for GSNEO, so that if you are, you know, it's the same tracking that you would be doing
Right.
using the VTK, and the parents can log in and see that as well.
Exactly. So, you know, again, you know, for further troop and group financial information, just review the GSNEO policies, volunteer policies that is related to finances. The financial management policies begin on page 12, and these guidelines have been developed by a group of volunteers and staff to help you carry out your responsibilities for the girls' money while helping plan and conduct activities that are appropriate for their age, their capabilities, and financial resources. I remember by the time you know, the girls were seniors and ambassadors, they were actually working and doing the reporting.
Absolutely.
So it really helped them in learning how to budget, and it gave them, it really opened their eyes to
Yeah.
the events and activities they wanted to do and
Yeah.
what they could afford
Nothing
to do.
is free.
So,
yeah, that's really good leadership, and that helps set those girls up for success.
for success, exactly.
So, and then, you know, of course, if you do all this work, you're tracking all this and you're being transparent, getting your girls involved, then why not have them earn the CFO patch?
Exactly.
You know, John Graves worked with a group of community members to create this patch. There's 6 different patches, one for each age level, and basically the girls ask the troop leaders for a troop finance report and a final bank statement, and then they complete simple exercises, usually during a troop meeting, and they'll earn this patch. So they learn how to read those reports and ask the right questions and share the information with their families. And if they do that, they can get the troop CFO patch. And it's at gsneo.org/CFO patch. So that was a lot of information about finances. I will say we have a note here in the question log from one of our amazing facilitators, Tina. She said, I have been using this tool for my troop finances, and everyone loves that they can look at it at a glance at any time.
Wonderful.
You know,
And
how many problems that we avoid?
Boy, when parents and caregivers are engaged and have the ability to, you know, look at these reports,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, they then know what questions to ask, and
absolutely.
you know, they can see everything.
It's very
so
responsible.
it is.
You know, and Girl Scouts are responsible, so that's a very good thing. We do have a question here from Bethany. I think it's a really great question. She said, how do we handle the funds for girls that are bridging to a new troop with a new bank account? So let's say that you have a troop of 10 first grade girls, and you know, or let's say that, you know, a couple of those girls are in first grade and you have kindergartners too. So next year your first graders are flying up to Brownies. They're going to bridge up to Brownies, and they're transferring to a new
Right.
troop. So because we do not keep individualized accounting of funds per girl in a troop based on their sales or anything like that, the troop's treasury belongs to the girls equally. So let's say that you have a group of 10, but 2 are leaving the troop to join a different troop. Then you would prorate the balance of your bank account and send that prorated portion along with the girls to their new troop. If they're bridging, that's one way that you can handle that. And you know, a lot of times the whole troop will bridge, and then you can keep the same bank account. That's not a problem. But if you do have 2 girls that are maybe staying behind and the rest of the troop is moving to Brownies, and 2 girls are staying behind and joining a different Daisy troop perhaps, then you could prorate the treasury and allow, you know, and have that portion submitted to the new troop treasury on their behalf. This is definitely an area where you want to get your girls involved in the decision-making process, have this discussion, especially, you know, if they're really little, and your parents have
Include
been
the
involved,
parents.
include the parents along the way so that there's no questions asked and everybody can continue on their Girl Scout journey and not feel left behind or without because they're not old enough or something like that. So I think that's a very, very good question. And, certainly if you need some help navigating through that, you can talk with your organizer or your director or your community membership executive, your CME. And hopefully everybody on the phone knows who their service unit director is, because I keep referring to these very important volunteers in your community. And if you're not sure who that is in your community, just let us know. We can definitely put you in touch, and you can do that in the question log. So one of the things that, if you do all these amazing things, right, you renew your troop and you've done all this wonderful program and you do your finances and you do all these things, well, we consider you a pretty super troop.
That's right.
That you're doing all the right things and we say, you know what, you're a super troop.
You are.
And so this is the time of year, too, that you really want to start looking at earning your super troop patch. So the super troop patch is something that a troop can earn every single year. The first time they earn it, they get the patch that you see on your screen, and then every year after that, they get a year patch that goes underneath it. So you can see how many different years you qualified as a super troop. And a super troop meets the criteria that's geared, the criteria is in place to help ensure that your troop has an amazing, fun-filled, and productive year, and that you're doing all the right things. And you want to, finish off the year as a super troop and wear the patch with pride. Now, the patch application is not due until September, so if you haven't met all the requirements, that's okay. You still have some time to get it done. But I do want to draw your attention to there's some required you have to do like 15 things and 5 of them are required or starred. And some of those things have to do with spring renewal and finance reports.
Reporting.
So you don't want to miss those deadlines. And here's yet another reason why, that you don't want to miss that. And for your convenience, under the handouts in your menu on the right side of your screen, I've attached the Super Troop requirements at a glance. You apply for Super Troop online. You can go right to the forms page and type Super Troop and find the fillable online form to fill that out. And when those come into the office, Mandy gets right on that, gets them right out to you. Just let us know how many patches and or rockers you need for your girls. So I know this is one great way to take some pride in all that we're doing so well out there.
That's a great way to just, keep track of what the troop is doing throughout the year.
So, okay, and then we have, of course, another very exciting thing. You alluded to this earlier, Barb, about this being such a fun time of the year.
Yeah.
Because another part of the year where this is so much fun is the ceremonies.
Year-end ceremonies, and spring is the time for this. Whether it's flying up, bridging, and Court of Awards. Maybe it's usually it's done in the spring. Some of our troops use the summer to finish up because our program year it does go through September 30th. So I'm hoping some of your troops are beginning to plan one of these ceremonies. They're time-honored traditions, and that recognize the girls' accomplishments throughout the year. So just in case you weren't on our call a couple months ago, just to remind everybody, flying up, that is designated with the wings. That's a bridging ceremony for Girl Scout brownies who are bridging to Girl Scout juniors, and they receive their Girl Scout pin and the Brownie Girl Scout wings to show that they've flown up and have completed their years as a brownie. Brownies may also bridge to juniors through a bridging ceremony, and usually these are done at the same time. So the bridging ceremony marks the progression between levels in Girl Scouts. Many troops will cross a real or symbolic bridge as part of the ceremony. Both of these ceremonies can be held during the Court of Awards ceremony. This is a special ceremony recognizing girls' accomplishments The girls are presented with their badges, their year pins, and other recognitions earned during the year. It's also a great time to recognize troop volunteers. The ceremony is usually girl-planned and a really nice opportunity to include parents and caregivers. And they're amazed by what the girls have accomplished throughout the year.
So I know that sometimes people can get a little confused between flying up and
Flying up
bridging.
and bridging, and it really is the same thing. It's just that it's the brownies that fly up to juniors, and I believe it goes back to, years ago when you were a brownie but not a Girl Scout, and then when you bridged, you became a Girl Scout. And daisies and brownies today are Girl Scouts, no matter what.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to answer this question here in the question log. It's a little confusing about Super Troop because the question is, okay, the Super Troop application is due now or by September 30th for the 2016 Super Troop. So if you want to be a Super Troop for 2016, so then do you need to have renewed by June 30th, 2015 or June 30th, 2016 to get your 2016 Super Troop patch? So I think that's a really good question.
That's a really good question. Do we have an answer for that?
Well, it might be good for us to have some Jeopardy music at this point while we get back to you, because I think that what we can do though is let's go ahead and look at those criteria. So this is the handout that I attached for you. And what you can see here, it says we've logged into the member community and updated our troop information for 2015-16. Good Girl Scouts are always prepared. Our troop completed spring renewal early bird registration, right? And so it's for the 2015-16 year. So that means your troop would have had to renew by June 30th, 2015, the year that we're in order to qualify for this year's patch, which is the 2016 Super Troop. However, if you did not renew your troop by June 30th, 2015,
or maybe you weren't a troop.
Maybe you weren't a troop yet, and then you can actually, if you're a brand new troop and if that's not applicable, you can mark that that's not applicable because you're a brand new troop. But you definitely want to make sure you renew your troop by June 30th, 2016, so that by next year you can start getting your Super Troop patches. So I know those dates can get a little confusing, and certainly we're here to help. So if you have any of those questions, please just let us know. I'll scroll a little bit through this too, just so you can see the 6 starter requirements. The other one is transparency, to make sure that you're distributing your annual finance report to the parents and the girls. You also want to make sure that you complete a Girl Scout journey and a Take Action project. And then you can let us know through the drop-downs what exactly it was that you did. You want to make sure you participated in the cookie sale and placed an initial order, and that you have utilized the volunteer toolkit. So those are the 6 starred things. And then the other 9 things could be any variety that you want. You could pick anything else from the list. So always looking for feedback on that, and happy to hear back from everybody how you feel. Are we covering the right things? Is there anything that is missing? And let's see. Yes, correct, Tina. So Tina confirmed that past experience, it should be early bird for 2015-16 registration. Correct. So that was due a year ago.
Right.
And Stephanie said, I thought it could be working on a journey. And so actually, what it says is you need to have completed a journey and a Take Action project. I know some people get confused about, is the Take Action project necessary? And the answer is, it kind of is. It's really the culmination of everything that you learned.
It's everything you learned through the journey. And
Yeah, so it's a really important part.
It is a very important part of the journey experience.
And, and thank you, Tina. She said, don't forget, you have till September.
Right.
It's only May. You still have several months to get that done. Very doable, and that's why we don't make it due with your finance report in June, because there's still so much year left.
Right, and because I think we used to have it due with the
Earlier.
And
we know people need the summer, and
sometimes
the
the summer is a great time to finish that Take Action project, or
right. And it looks like you guys are working on it. Stephanie said, we're working on it. We didn't finish yet. And you got time, Yeah. So, of course, the other thing that's going on here, is camp life over the summer. Camping is huge in the summertime here at GSNEO. And some may think, consider it the best part.
The best part
of the Girl Scout experience. We do have some really great camp programs, not only for individual girls, but for troops to enjoy. And you want to make sure that you do let your parents and caregivers know about all the offerings. Even if as a troop leader you're not going or you can't go, you can still promote these things to your girls, because they can do this individually as well. And if you're looking for some summer troop experiences, you'll want to check out Troop Days. Troop Days is going to be a lot of fun. It's an opportunity for you and your troop to spend a day sampling traditional camp activities. This is a great way for young girls and new campers to see and get a real feel for camp. And the other one is Corps Camp.
Corps Camp was such a wonderful experience. As a new leader and a new troop, to take the girls camping, and everything was taken care of. You just needed to bring your sleeping bag and your change of clothes, and it's just a great experience for first timers. Troops will spend 2 nights and 3 days at camp, and as I said, the best part is that camp staff provides all the programming, and and the food is provided.
Love it.
Yeah. It was the easiest camp out you'll ever have to pack for.
And you learn a lot,
and
that you can take your girls on your own.
And it really is a great way to, as a leader, if you really haven't done a lot of camping, it's a great way to build your confidence, because you're seeing people, and the camp staff will help guide you through that very well.
Yeah.
The one thing that you do need to do for Corps Camp, and I'm really not sure how Corps Camp is filling at this point.
Yeah.
I did not have a chance to check that, but at least you want to remember, at least one adult per troop must have outdoor essentials prior to attending Corps Camp. Right now, the next Outdoor Essentials, which is held on June 18th, that has filled. So, if you are planning to go to Corps Camp and you have not had outdoor essentials, or somebody in your troop has not had outdoor essentials, my suggestion would be to maybe get on the waiting list. We'll see if we need to add another class. I will tell you, the class will have to be out at Sugarbush,
which is great.
Which is out in Warren. It's a wonderful, small, intimate camp, but it would have to be out there because our other camps are busy with resident camp, and so
But sign up now, because here's the thing. I mean, I think it's really exciting that our Outdoor Essentials training has filled up.
Right.
That indicates to me that people are ready and wanting to go camping, and they're ready to get that training. So we were delighted to see that class has filled and is at capacity today. It wasn't yesterday. It's filled up. But if you still want that training, you got to let us know. Get on the waiting list. Same way you would register for camp, you can get on the waiting list.
Especially if it's because you're going to Corps Camp.
Yeah.
If you're not going to Corps Camp this summer, we have Outdoor Essential classes open and available at ALE.
Yeah,
Adult
nice
Learning
segue there.
Experience. So.
Yeah, but if you definitely are in a time crunch for your OE and the class is filled, let it be known, because if we have a group in that boat with you, then we can appeal to our trainers, which are also volunteers, who are also very busy over the summer, but we will definitely ask them if they could step up and do another class to get that need met.
Right.
But again, like Barb said, there's other opportunities to get that training. So, we hope that you seek those out as well. And let's see here. We have, in addition to these wonderful opportunities, troop camping. You mentioned Sugar Bush.
Sugar Bush.
Yeah.
Camp Sugar Bush is open to troop camping all summer long. So, make sure you check out that. It's a small, intimate camp which covers almost 200 acres of charming scenery. And, the facilities include a dining hall, an infirmary, flush toilets. It's got it all. And new is the astronomy house. So,
it's really a nice place.
It's a lovely little camp.
We are quickly running out of time and want to make sure that we cover all the other things that happen over the summer and to prepare for the fall. Just a couple of questions that we do have here in the question log is, do you have outdoor essentials training every year? And we offer it a couple times a year.
We offer outdoor essentials at one of our camps at least once a month. Sometimes, when they don't fill, we unfortunately have to cancel. But
it's really not fun to take outdoor essentials by yourself. So we do need a class. Yeah.
So, but it is offered at least once a month. This year, I believe we offered like 15 outdoor essential classes. So
and then I think maybe this question too for Bethany: how often does the leader have to retake that training?
Right now, if you have not taken it in years, we don't have a set
time. You take it once.
You take it once.
Take it once. If you haven't done it in a while,
we try to make sure we keep people updated on any changes that occur at the camps. We are looking at maybe, down the road, there being a recertification that would be done online. But we sometimes we get questions from volunteers who, I was a volunteer years ago and I'm coming back and I'm a volunteer now with my granddaughter's troop. I think definitely it's a time to retake outdoor essentials because the camps have changed some. So,
Yeah. So it's all like if you take it this year,
right?
You don't have to take it again next year or so on. Right. It's something that you're really supposed to just have to do one time. But we always encourage folks, if you get a little rusty or there's been a lot of time or something like that, you're always welcome. You can come back every year if you'd like. And breaking news, we just heard back from the director of program because I put a text out to her, and she said that Core Camp still has spaces available at Timberlane and Ledgewood. So check the website.
So if you're interested, like I said, it was a wonderful experience when I took my troop.
So great. Thank you for all that great information. And if they take outdoor essentials at ALE, do you know if they're staying in a tent or a cabin? Do you know where they'll be put up overnight?
Usually outdoor essentials is facilitated out at Macalonan.
Okay. So it's a cabin.
It's a cabin with mattresses on the floor.
Thank you. That's good information.
But if you've already taken outdoor essentials and you want to increase your camping skills, sign up for the Tents and Adirondacks, and you can spend the night in a tent or an Adirondack. So
at ALE.
At ALE.
So ALE is coming up in August, and it's a good time to register for that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's some other ideas to keep the Girl Scout fun going all summer long. Girls love a parade, and it really doesn't take much planning to be involved. Oftentimes, someone in the service unit works with the community person to ensure a Girl Scout presence. Parades are a great way to put a face to Girl Scouting in the community. You don't know how many times we hear, oh, there's the Girl Scouts,
Yeah,
or people will say, oh, I didn't even
I
know
didn't
Girl
know we
Scout.
had them in the town. Yeah.
Exactly. Or I was a Girl Scout. How can I get my daughter involved? So this is a really great way to, to share with the community that Girl Scouts are alive and strong, and here we are.
Yeah.
And more than just great PR, the girls love it because it makes them feel special too.
Yeah.
And in your service unit or area, if you guys might be hosting a day camp or a twilight camp, I know Stephanie's excited about the camps that she's a part of in Highland and the River Valley Day Camp in June. So there's also these day camp offerings, and those are a lot of fun.
And it engages volunteers and families, and it's a great way to network and meet other volunteers in your service unit or in your geographical area. And, volunteers are our greatest resources.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So make sure you do check your safety activity checkpoints for everything that you should be watching out for. And there's a question about outdoor essentials training. Is it always an overnight?
You know what we offer is a day class, and we offer the overnight experience as well. So you can do the full day class and then stay overnight if you'd like. It's sort of a separate, there are two charges then, or you just have to do the day class.
Great. And what about the one if they do the Adirondacks, or, is that an overnight?
I believe that's an overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And pathway passes, are we using pathway passes at ALE?
For ALE, no, there is no, there's not a way that we can set that up in the registration system.
No, but there's a lot of classes at ALE that are free.
Yeah.
So, pick those ones if that's a need for sure. And also don't forget that just because it's summer doesn't mean you can't work on those badges and work on journeys. Travel is a really great summertime experience. I know we always had an annual family picnic. So, sometimes people think, oh, it's summer, we're done with Girl Scouts until the school year kicks up, but nothing could be further from the truth because there's so many fun things you could do over the summer. And the girls really love to get together as well. And Barb has mentioned multiple times, some of you on the phone have mentioned it as well. Everybody's looking very much forward to the adult learning experience that's coming up again. This is an annual event that's been going on for about 30 years.
30 some years, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, a long time. It's a time-honored tradition at the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio. And this year, ALE will be August 11th through the 13th at Camp Ledgewood. You can register for classes right now.
Yes, you can.
Go to the events calendar and
and childcare and housing, that's filling quickly. So, but don't let that, keep you from registering for classes.
Yeah.
Things can be figured out. So.
Yeah, and it used to be it was a whole week long. Some folks are saying, well, I thought it was a whole week, and it used to be a whole week, but we are trying to add some other opportunities to the calendar, and so we have to kind of spread our resources around a little bit. So ALE is now 3 days instead of 6, or 5, but I will say that because it's more concentrated, our class sizes are bigger this year,
Sure.
And I think that's going to be a lot of fun,
So
instead of going to a class where there's 2 people in that class, there's going to be 12 people, and you'll have so much
and I think
more
people have, volunteers say, I can take a day or two off from work and go to ALE and, take the classes I want to take. So as opposed to feeling, oh,
gotta take a week.
Got to take a week,
Yeah.
or
They can fit more into less time. And just makes it easier on the family.
4 sessions a day. So we have a morning session, 2 afternoon sessions, and an evening session.
And many things to pick from in each of those sessions.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of classes. And I got to tell you, we looked at the schedule yesterday, and we have more than 100 people already signed up in their classes, so don't forget to get on there and register now because you want to get into the class you want. There's fun classes for those of you that are new, and we'd love to know too, by the way, if you're on the call today, you can let us know in the question log what your experience has been so far this year. Are you a brand new troop leader? Is this your first year? Have you been doing this for a while? We always like to know who's with us on the call. But if you are brand new, or maybe you just haven't heard of ALE, there's all kinds of classes, from fun things like tie-dyeing and duct tape projects
to outdoor classes of hiking and
cooking,
knots, learning how to, make those knots, and personal development, leadership development classes.
Yeah,
So.
maybe you want to get some tips on how to deal with difficult behavior or engaging the families more in your troop.
Right.
So the offering is very diverse, and everyone from around the council, and even people from outside of our council, even people from outside of our state, come to Northeast Ohio to spend some time with us in August every year at Camp Ledgewood for ALE. So you register online. Some classes are free. Others have a very small fee. You can come for a session or stay for 3 days straight, whatever you want. And we have, we just have a whole lot of fun.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
And come and just spend a few hours or a few days with your Girl Scout sisters.
Yep, absolutely. So bring on the new year, right? Planning for next year. I bet you already have some ideas in mind. We've covered a lot of ground. Don't let it overwhelm you. After all, if you plan to renew your troop by June 30th, you'll have your roster ready and the fun can just continue. You'll be glad you renewed in the spring instead of waiting until you're trying to get the kids ready for school. And parents and caregivers will appreciate that too. And if you, the girls, or any of the family members somehow missed renewing by June 30th, you still want to make sure you register for on time. So, you still want to get that done before September 30th, regardless. And remember, planning should always include the girls. That's
Definitely.
A huge part of it. You don't want to just sit at home and plot out the summer. You get the girls involved in that planning, get together, talk about their dreams and the goals for the troop, and you might have to make some alterations to some of those ideas, but it's so whimsical to get their input on that.
Just have a picnic and talk to them, let them share what they want to do and their visions of where their troop should go into the journey.
And keep the parents involved, share the love. Let many hands make light work. So make light work. So let the parents help, with the meetings and the shopping and whatever it is, chaperoning. Most of the time they do want to be involved. They're waiting for an invitation. And so remember, sign up for another year of fun. Continue to keep good financial records. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your activities and your ceremonies. And I think that, do we have a call in June?
No. This is our last until September.
Yeah. So we know that we'll be getting that schedule back out to you, but this is our last Wow Wednesday call for a couple of months now.
So if you have ideas, let us know. We'd love to hear.
Absolutely. Send them our way.
What do you think would be a good topic?
And they'd send those to
training@gsneo.org.
Awesome. Very good. We did have one quick question before I let you go, Barb. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is a question that says, what if I registered for an ALE class, but I changed my mind? Can I change my schedule?
Ooh, you know what? I would suggest that you contact Angie Blankenship. She can help you make that change.
So it's customer care.
So I think it would, customer care, or actually registration at gsneo.org, and they can help you. And if or you can talk to Lisa McCarthy, but because Angie does the registration. Yep. She can probably just make that quick change.
Sure. So if you registered for a class and now you're thinking, oh, I want to go to a different one, call us at the council office, ask for registration, and just let them know you need to change what you picked for Ailey, and we'll help you.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
And it would probably be best if you have your receipt from your original registration, because I believe there's a number on that, and if you can give that to Angie, I'm sure she will be able to help you without a problem.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today and spending your noon hour with us. We really appreciate it. And we will be back tonight at 6 o'clock. So if you have any Girl Scout friends you want to send our way, please do. And have
Thanks
a wonderful
for
day.
joining us.
Yeah. Thank you.